What's up everyone, this is another trickingbasics.com tutorial. Today we're going over the Sideswipe. Alright, so the way this is done is you wind up and you go into a cheat-like takeoff. It's more like a rise takeoff. You lift and then you kick across and land hyper. So you can think of it as a rise hyper or a 540 from a rise takeoff. So you want to wind up. You're going to be taking off like you would in a rise, just like a cheat takeoff, but a little different. You want to lift your back leg and you want to shoulder roll. You don't want to dip your chest, but you actually want to turn your shoulders so that you're facing the ceiling, and then you kick across and land on your kicking leg. Okay, so you want to make sure you have a nice strong rise takeoff, and when you have that, you should feel your kicking leg just naturally come across, kicking over. It should feel relatively natural if you kick off hard enough. You should feel like you're kicking straight over behind you, almost like a flash kick. So there it is. That's the Sideswipe. So let's go over some progressions. All right. I think it's I'm not a huge fan of prerequisites, but I think it's a good idea to have a rise, at least a strong rise takeoff. A pop flash is also a good idea because it feels like a rise takeoff flash kick, and a 540 is a good idea just because that's the landing. So I think the takeoff is like the rise, the kick is like a pop flash, and the landing is like a 540. So you want to make sure you have a nice strong rise takeoff regardless. And when you can do that, I think a good way to learn how to do a Sideswipe is to just think about having your leg chambered, just like in a 540. Making sure that once you can do what I'm doing here, which is a Sideswipe with my leg chambered, you can slowly start to extend your leg. And if you notice, the more your leg extends, the further back you lean, and that's only because of weight distribution. Your leg weighs a certain amount, so it's going to lean you back. So make sure you're lifting with your whole body when you're taking off, and kicking at the apex. Okay, you don't want to kick too early. That's going to kill your height completely. So strong rise takeoff, then kicking through like a flash kick. So if you saw in my 540 tutorial, what I do is show you how to jump over your leg, your leg that your lifting leg. So you want to do the same thing with a rise, but you lift your leg behind you. So you have to rotate, I guess a little bit more, or so it seems that way. But you want to make sure that you are getting over that leg. And I think it's just a good idea to be comfortable and have nice aerial awareness and being comfortable with doing things like backflips. But essentially it is a rise takeoff where you're kicking your leg behind you and you're jumping over that leg. And I think that's why I have us kind of my leg is stalled throughout my flash kick. Anyway, so let's go over some problems. Here we have a low Sideswipe. If you have problems with a low Sideswipe, it may be because you're dipping at the waist or at the hips. If you're dipping like this, like you would for maybe touchdown rise or something, you won't be able to lift your body up. What you want to do is get your hips, your shoulders out of the way of your hips. You see how my shoulders and hips are not lined up? So now if I jump from that position there, my hips can lift without my shoulders being in the way. And I think learning like the shoulder roll kind of thing, like this kind of movement, is what's going to move your shoulders out of the way so that your hips can go up. All right, that movement there is what it should feel like while you're taking off. And because you're doing that, when you're lifting, your hips are going to go up really high, and it's going to feel like a flash kick. Okay, so you want to do the shoulder roll, take off with you kicking your leg behind you and turning while you take off. You're going to get to your apex of your jump, and then you're going to kick across, just like a flash kick or a 540. The other problem I see with Sideswipes is treating it like a leaned back 540. And this is how I used to do my Sideswipes, is kind of like a lean back 540, but that's not what a Sideswipe is. it's going to look more like a single leg, which is a double leg variation, or a single leg parafuso, if you do it like a lean back 540. The takeoff is different, it looks different, and it feels different. So if you want to learn a lean back 540, that's something else in and of its own. But here we're working on side swipes. Okay, so if you're taking off with like a lean back 540, what's going to happen is your leg, your lifting leg, is going to be facing towards your target when you take off, like I'm demonstrating here. It's going to look like this. Okay, so watch. This is a lean back cheat takeoff. This is a rise takeoff. All right, you want to make sure you're doing a rise takeoff. If I do a lean back cheat takeoff and think backflip, that's closer, but that's not exactly what I want to do. If I do a rise like takeoff, my momentum's going to carry me and I'm going to kick straight back and it's going to look just like a rise. Okay, if you're doing a cheat takeoff and you lean back, it's not going to feel right. You want to do a rise takeoff. It's going to set you up perfectly to lean back and do a nice side swipe. That's what you want. Well, this is the end of my side swipe tutorial. I hope it helped, guys. Thank you for watching. Take care.